So we deal with this. And again, I'm only here part-time, so I think I have a little bit of a different perspective than the folks that live here every day, so I apologize for taking the floor as much as I am. But, you know, the fact is when I come down here, I do expect, you know, for my property to look good. And it does. Right? It's myself, it's my neighbors, we communicate with each other, we communicate through Christine, it's complaint after complaint after complaint, and it doesn't seem like anything's being done about it. I've been here for 30 years, same old complaint. Right? So about a third of our HOA dues goes to one line.
No.
Almost a third goes to landscaping.
No, well, there's 3 different vendors too. It's not
Yeah, I'm just saying one line.
Yeah, you're right.
Third
but what I'm saying, it doesn't go to one vendor. That is
split
up.
It did for a long time, and he did pretty well for himself over that time period. So I think, you know, that part really doesn't need to be looked at. Again, this is an outsider's perspective.
Right.
The second part that I think really needs to be looked at is our entrance ways. You know, our entrance ways compared to other neighborhoods in the surrounding area, I'm not saying it's embarrassing, but it looks so plain vanilla compared to some of the other neighborhoods. You know, I continue to look in the area myself, you know, just to see what else is out there, to see what other neighborhoods offer. I mean, like, we can't compare to what some of these other neighborhoods look like from an entrance way.
And I have to agree with you on that, and there were enhancements made. It looked actually worse. We've only been here 3 years. It was worse than that long ago. It really was. And we didn't even have entryway at this side. There wasn't any monuments or anything. So there's been improvements made. Is there more improvements that can be made? Absolutely. You know, again, it's all budgetary. There's projects you work for.
I'm listening to gazebos being replaced. In the 3 years that I've been here, I've never seen a single person sitting in any of those gazebos.
Well, that's why we're not replacing them. That's why we're doing landscape. I guess you misunderstood. The gazebos became dilapidated because they were wood structures. We removed them and said it's not advantageous to reinstall them for the cost. We'd rather put the money into landscape. So with that said, there are enhancements that are on the table right now for landscape, part of which are for Greenwood Manor. So that instead of gazebos, the money's going to landscape.
But again, those two things should be prioritized if that's where the bulk of our money's going. So you did a good job by replacing the sprinkler person. You did a good job by replacing the person that's actually fertilizing the lawns, which is good. You got to take it to the next step. You got to really do that.
And there are bids being taken, like I said, and Christine will forward that. The committee will review them. We take your input. We take everybody's input. That's why the survey went out. So we take all that data, work orders, and then a decision we made from there.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Thank you for your input, though. Okay. I'm sorry, I don't know who was first.
Oh, probably her.
I just want to kind of agree with my neighbor here that I hope that past performance does play some role in the decision making for the landscaping bid. I've lived here for maybe like 5 years, and I've been pretty totally dissatisfied with the landscaper. They've helped themselves to the fruit on a tree. Sometimes the grass is one area is taller than the other area. There's all like patio furniture. You know, I'm getting tired of replacing pillows and things because they're constantly getting thrashed all over my patio. We never blow it off. Maybe they'll get off the area on the bottom, but my patio furniture constantly littered with grass clippings. So I do hope that you have taken into consideration the survey results.
Absolutely, and that's why it went out.
Okay, and then my second thing is my suggestion is, I was living here 4 years before I even realized that I could get a login for the HOA site and see that my payments and whatnot.
Well, that was just recent. That happened last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was a new platform.
But I don't think it was very well advertised, and I would just suggest maybe at our next big function that we have, that
We advertised it at the annual meeting, and we advertised. Yeah, we've been advertising it, so maybe you just somehow missed it. You know.
Well, from looking at the survey results
And we have it on we have a banner out front with the web page, and then there's a banner on the tennis court.
Well, I knew there was a web page.
Yeah.
I didn't realize there was other things I could do in there.
Yeah.
Okay. And all I'm just suggesting is that maybe at our next big function that when we're getting a lot of people in, that maybe at that time, like when we were doing the IDs, that you could ask, do you have a login for web page? And then issue them.
Is that on your e-blast? It's on,
Yeah,
do
we
you
did
get the
that.
e-blast?
I do the because, you know, people, they check their emails and then they start, life happens and they don't go back to it. So if they're here and you can do it for them now, I mean, maybe months from now, but it's just.
And we do, and it's been in our mail outs and stuff, but of course, we continue to try. So yes, absolutely, the annual meeting, it'll be out there again. We'll try, the more people we get, the more we try to put it out there. So yes, thank you though. Thank you for your comments.
I just want to bring something up about the survey, and we won't even talk about the wording on it, on how it was slanted, and it could have been worded better. However, the effort was outstanding, and I really appreciate that it was actually up there. What I thought was understood was that we were going to put signs up so we could get more traffic on there and let people know there were no signs. It was just like a very quick thing. And the only other thing I thought that was kind of important is you're talking about redoing the entire front of the development so that people can, you know, get in more easily. But if we're also looking at doing the back gate, why wouldn't we put that on hold until we make a firm decision? Because if you open up that back gate, all of a sudden you don't have this extra traffic, because now you've just split it back to where it belongs.
We still have that traffic. That design was a poor design to begin with, and we still have that traffic. So regardless, if anything were done with the back gate, you gotta understand that's gonna take a while, because that will be a redesign phase. From the preliminary, most people that responded were against it at this point. So I asked Anita to reopen up the survey and let it run a little while longer and let's see what happens. But
Are we putting up signs to advertise it, like we did on the other ones, or no?
Well, but everybody's getting emails.
No, everybody isn't getting emails, and it's obvious if you're sending out, and please don't take this the wrong way, but if you're sending out 500 and less than 100 people are responding, it's going into junk mail. Every resident is not getting that email. And for us not to put up signs when there's a survey that every resident back there wants opened, to say that the residents in the front of the development don't want it open, and they voted where everybody in the back knew about it, there's no way they knew about it. I was walking around asking my neighbors, did you know there's a survey? Well, no.
Well, this is what we read. I mean, you're sending out email blasts to everybody.
Right.
But,
People don't read your emails.
but what if it's going,
Why bother?
but what if it's going in their junk
Well, I think
email?
a lot of it
You got a
is,
problem.
yeah, you know.
Your email is screwed.
Okay, if we're doing a survey and you want participation, then you put it out.
They're not checking their emails
Okay,
at all.
what I'm
And
suggesting-
If they check their junk mail and then they
Okay.
move it to the inbox, then it will not be, it will solve the problem, but they are not checking their emails.
If we're talking about opening the back gate or the front gate, the original gate where everybody lives, why would you not put a sign at that gate saying there's a survey? That's all I'm saying.
I hear what you're saying. The formula says that we should forget about communicating through email. We should.
I didn't say that.
No, but if it's going to junk mail, it doesn't matter what email is about. So that means we shouldn't even bother.
Okay, yes, we'll take that under consideration, okay? I don't wanna hold, we have a lot more people here, so we'll take that under consideration. We thank you for your input. Jose in the back, sorry.
Now that we have the survey, can we get a survey for the speed bumps? You know, they have been controversial. I just want to.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Like a survey for the speed bump, like survey that we have been working on. I'd just like to see what sense of information is.
The problem with that really is, as it was brought up, it's a legal issue. And you don't want to open the board or the community to lawsuits. So it's not even, you know, a comfort issue. It's more of an issue of the fact that do you really want to open up the community to lawsuits? And believe me, people sue for anything.
I just know the community that there's no speed bumps.
No, but it's present, you know, we already have it. And if you take it out and something happens, then you have an issue. If you never had it, and then you were discussing putting it in, that would have been the time. But once you have something and take it
And
out,
it's been there for years.
then you have an issue legally. That's just the way the world works,
You
you
know,
know.
and another thing is too, you know, and I understand, like I said, I don't like speed bumps. To be perfectly honest, I detest speed bumps. But in a community this size, with the amount of children, people, animals we have, I was here when we first built it, as were a lot of you. And this was a raceway, you know, you thought you were on, you know, Daytona 500. I mean, people were just they speed now with the speed bumps, okay? But it was way worse because they didn't stop at all. Let me tell you, I think, I wouldn't be surprised if they were going 70, 80 miles an hour down this straightaway from the traffic circle to the entry. So, you know, and there's kids, you know what? Kids don't pay attention. We as adults must pay attention because they're going to run out, they're going to ride their bike, they're going to ride their skateboard, whether you like it or not. So when you allow that type of excess speed, you're allowing an accident to occur, in my opinion. And that's why I was in favor when it came up about the speed bumps, is because of the fact that we are a family-oriented community. Even though personally I don't like speed bumps, and I would probably feel as, you know, a lot of other people do about it, but going from a board perspective and doing our due diligence with the type of community that we had and the response that we had at the time, that we had a lot of people asking for speed bumps, and we still have people in some of the communities wanting more speed bumps. And these are the families with the children. So, you know, so, you know, that's kind of where we're at with it.
So if you're gonna put additional speed bumps, would you send a survey? See if that works?
I don't think that's gonna happen.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think we really need more. I was just commenting that there's people that were asking.
When they did the ones they did, they did a whole thing, survey about it, and checked into it, and where we needed them, how much we needed them, and so that was done strategically.
Yeah, I don't think,
we're not gonna add speed bumps.
I wouldn't think so. I'm just commenting that people were asking about
Not even a Greenwood man?
it. Pardon me?
No speed bumps in Greenwood man?
We, with that community, we had inquired once, and the residents there were not in favor of them. And I think it's basically because of the size of your community, you don't have the amount of area to get up speed like we do over here. Your design is a little bit different.
Can you clarify the watering schedule?
The watering schedule? Christine has the watering schedule. Right now there is none because the irrigation is off, correct?
And when did that start?
When it's raining?
Yeah, when the area, right now it was off because of all the rain that we had.
But didn't we install valves and systems that when it rained, we shut that down, it shut down itself?
They work only to a certain degree. They will shut off when there's an X amount of water in them, and that's why the system was shut off, because we had so much saturation that we didn't want them on at all. Now, you know, if you have areas that are starting to show effect from dryness, then you can have Mike come in and start turning on certain zones if need be.
Yeah, he comes in and checks, he was here today.
When is it going to come back on? I mean, when is the season, are you officially turning it back on?
When did you say that you were speaking with Mike about that the other day? I thought.
Right, and what he does is he checks the weather all the time. He knows when it's going to rain, how much it's going to rain, percentage of rain. And if it doesn't happen, then he calls me and says, you know what, it was going to rain 60% today, what happened? Most of the time he called here. You know, we've had an awful amount of rain.
It's basically, it's not like, right now during the rainy season, it's not like a set time, it's all gauged on weather, so he and Christine kind of communicate. So if we go for a few days without rain, he'll probably come in and turn it on. If we start getting the massive downpours again, he'll come in and turn the system off.
Which I understand, but I know when I talked to Christine, we had been in a 6th day with no rain and no water. And so.
The grass is getting dry?
And so part of the reason we bought them here was to not have to swap hoses around and so on and so forth. And the thing that bothered me about that is I came up here to work out and the water system went off around the clubhouse.
Well, he could have been doing a zone check. The wet checks are done during the day, so they will turn on certain zones to check the system and check the irrigation heads, so that could be it. But Christine can, one of them find out what the plan is and then let them know when it's done back on.
It's different this whole weekend. The weekend it's rain except for Sunday.
Well, I understand what she's saying, because the grass is starting to get brown.
Yeah.
That happens then, when the grass on the swale around the front of my house will get brown.
So just get a hold of Mike and have him check.
We had pouring rain yesterday.
You did? Oh, yeah.
This day?
Tuesday morning.
Where?
We had rain every morning, actually.
I don't think
Where
it's
is it?
She'll check into it, she'll get with the irrigation tech and find out. I'm sorry?
I have Mr. Reed,
You're talking about the back gate. And I was wondering, has there been any more problems? You've had problems in the past, like with tow trucks trying to break in and people intentionally breaking the arm and stuff. Has that all been cleared up?
No, I think it's been
not
moderate,
less.
yeah, there's not
We
really,
still have
not
people
been a
trying,
problem
we still have people trying to
that we used to
tailgate.
have.
We had, we had one today.
A lot of homeowners, though, I've been doing what I tell them, they stop, they wait for the arm to come down, and they drive away.
I know they've had tow trucks that have broken in and broken the gate. People have actually gone out and broken the arm on the gate.
Nothing like
That was a long time
that,
ago,
no,
yeah,
nothing like that, Joe.
How everything's been going.
Yeah, not like that.
Everything's good?
Yeah, we haven't had, knock on wood, now we probably will, but we have not had.
Hard issue, that's not had hard issue.
But remember, if you are coming in the back gate, and somebody's right on you trying to get in, just wait until the arm, go through, wait for the arm to come down and then drive away, and they have to back up and go out.
We're gonna go to Melissa first.
Without getting political, I would just like to thank everybody, including Chris.
You still have something?
I just have an add to that, to the irrigation, and I just jump in for that. Just if we could know when it's on our office, we don't know.
It's on the e-blast.
Do you put your e-blast?
Sometimes we know, sometimes we
Yeah,
don't.
I'm putting in my e-blast every Friday, it's still off, it's still.
Okay, yeah,
I
I
just
just
ask
think,
you,
yeah.
but I don't usually always know.
Okay.
I'll piggyback on what he said, the gate is open by itself some days, I pull up.
Yeah, I
know.
Did it open up by itself?
Yeah, I went to get
Yeah, my husband too. Yeah.
All right, there's a problem.
And it's only this gate here, right?
Yes.
It's the resident entrance gate.
Yeah,
It comes
I'll
twice.
get Bryce out.
And my other question was, how many rentals do we have for this development, and are we doing anything to maybe cut down on that?
How many rentals were we at?
11%.
11?
How many rentals?
8%?
I was like,
Geez, he means total rental percentage. We have 11%.
Right, like 8%.
Are we doing anything to?
We cannot reduce, we checked into that with the attorney, and the reason why we cannot reduce it, we wanted to, we tried to, I tried every approach, but what if we did this, or we worded it this way? They said we cannot do that because our documents, our declarations do not specify restrictions on rentals. So in order for us to put it in writing and have a policy on rentals, we'd have to amend our documents, which would require 80% vote of the community. So that's like an act of God.
Vote twice.
But we can try, you know. I
Well,
think
we have pretty strict rules. We gotta put down deposit to get in, so it's not, we don't make it that easy for the renters.
Okay, so there's nothing in place at all.
Well, what I tried to do is because of, the attorney said that you cannot do that because your documents do not specify you can do that, and it's illegal to do that. I said, well, what if, because when I got here, the builder had a policy that said you cannot rent your home for 1 year. I said, what if we reenact the same policy that was here when the builder was here? And they said, no, we couldn't do that because that was just part of his contract. It wasn't actually part of.
We just try to see what happens.
Dr. Doc. I have a question.
That's what I was trying, but yeah, unfortunately.
Regarding the damage on landscaping, I've had some damage and my mailbox got just ripped apart. I mean, brand new, the weed whacker just ripped the paint right off of it. So here's my question. I bring the information into Christine, and my biggest concern is the HOA paying this, or are we going back to the landscaper to get him to reimburse us for the damage that he's doing?
If it's the mailbox and it's clearly identified that the landscaper did it, then it's charged off of his bill, yeah.
Good.
He pays for it, yeah.
I mean, I've got other things in there too, but that's like, they were just done.
Yeah, if it's the mailbox and it's caused by the weed eater or the edger, then yes, that's something that's chargeable to the vendor, absolutely.
Good.
Yes.
Have we started taking bids yet on the landscape?
Yes, Christine is soliciting right now.
What's the criteria for soliciting bids?
Her criteria is, basically the license check, Better Business Bureau check,
But
a
how is
reputable.
if she's the one soliciting them, how is she picking them?